What's up? What's up? Piano Lanyard. Howdy there. This is... I don't say howdy. I live in a hick town, but I don't say howdy. So what's up? This is a trip story of a pretty large motherfucking dose of shrooms. Good gooms too. Good ass gooms. This was 2.5 eighths, which would be around 8 grams or so. Yeah, 8 point something grams. 2.5 eighths, cause my cousin, I'll call him Brown Bear cause his last name's Brown. My cousin had 5 eighths, and he came up from California for a family reunion, and we were planning on after the family reunion, when me and him stay at my grandma's house, we were gonna do 5 eighths at my grandma's house. 5 eighths between the two of us. So that was like 2.5 eighths each, which is a lot, but I was fucking ready to go to the fucking eschaton and back like that day. I was fucking ready, and I did, holy shit. So he's showing me them at the family reunion. There's a fuckload of mushrooms I've ever seen. And yeah, we left the family reunion, I don't know what day or whatever. This was like my sophomore year or something. And we went to my grandma's. And my grandma lives out in the country in a big farmhouse, so there's gonna be a lot of space, we could do whatever. And it goes a little like this, my trip story. Let's see. Let's just get right to it. So my grandparents are there, me and my cousin are there. My cousin's gonna be my trip guide. He's super experienced with tripping and shit. And we go downstairs and split up the 5 eighths, and we just start eating. It takes me a good 30 minutes to finish these off, because I was eating them kind of slowly and trying to make sure I could get every little bit of it, and I wanted to taste the shrooms this time, so I ate them, and I kind of swallowed them down with orange juice. And what's crazy is by the time I was finished eating them, it only took another 5 minutes before I could feel shit start to change. So I ate them downstairs in the bathroom, and with orange juice and shit, and I went upstairs to talk to my grandparents to tell them we were going to go on a walk, because we wanted to get out of there and go walking for some of the trip, for the come up at least. And I told my grandparents we were going to go on a walk and shit, and as I was talking to them, I could feel the room shifting, I could feel my gravity, my body getting heavier and shit. And this is only 10 minutes after I'd finished eating them. So I was like, wow, this is coming on already. This is going to be crazy. This is going to be strong. And it was. So we leave the house and start walking. And we're walking out. The sun had kind of already gone down, so it was dusk out. So I was starting to feel like I was rolling and fizzing a little bit. Starting to feel the usual what you would feel on a shroom come up. And we were walking out to this pond that's out in the fucking farm, and I remember getting these vibes that aliens were gonna come out of the cornfield, because I'd seen signs when I was little, and there was cornfields and shit. So we were oh shit, we were feeling there's extraterrestrials out there. But anyways, we weren't tripping yet, totally, just these feelings and shit, these feelings. After we get to the pond, I start to feel it come up, and I start to feel like I need to throw up, but that night I didn't. I just held it in. And if anyone knows about a strong shroom come up, you get those body loads on yourself that you have to deal with. Then they go away later. So I start tripping, and I start getting that usual feeling oh, we need to go over here, no, we need to go over there, not being able to make up my mind what I want to do. And he was just calm down, put down your Coca-Cola, because I had my Coca-Cola, and he was that shit it's not natural, you want to feel natural on your trip. Put down your Coca-Cola and stop looking at your phone. Because I was looking at my phone all the time, like, oh, what time is it? Like, oh, we need to get back. Or maybe they called me. Or maybe someone did this. And he was like, stop looking at your phone. Put away your Coca-Cola. You're going to feel a lot better. So I did that. I put away my Coca-Cola. I kept my phone in my pocket. I gagged a few times, but I didn't throw up. And he was right. It made me come into the trip feeling more natural. Like, I paid attention to the trip. So first thing that started happening, I started tripping, started getting visuals. The trees, branches that I was seeing and shit, they weren't going like in random directions. They were all on squares, like 90-degree angles. So it was like a robot tree or something. So the trees, branches already looked like super fractally cool, robot trippy. The pond that we were down in, because we had to go down kind of a hill to get to this pond, it looked like we were in this stadium or something. And I remember feeling and seeing it open up like 10 times bigger than it actually was. So it felt to me like I was in a stadium or something, like a full-on stadium down there. So we walk away from the pond. Again, we are like laughing and talking about how we're out on a farm in the pitch black dark, like thinking that aliens were coming on 2.5/8. So we're walking in the farm, feeling like some aliens are about to jump out the bushes. And I remember my cousin tricking me into thinking that he threw his phone. Like, he was like, fuck my phone, fuck all that shit. And he supposedly threw it. And it turns out later it was a rock, not his phone. But anyways, all this is missing the point of how crazy this shit got. I'm taking a long time to get to how crazy this shit got. This shit got so fucking crazy that it put 2CE to shame, put 2CI to shame. Only thing crazier was my near-death experience on 25I. But it starts off with, the first thing that happens is we're walking down the road to get back to the house, because we had gone pretty far off somewhere. And I remember not being able to tell that we were moving at all. It seemed like we were in the same spot on the road. So I keep walking. We keep walking for like 10 minutes, but it feels like we've been by the same sign the whole time. So can you imagine walking for half an hour but not feeling like you had gone anywhere? Like we were on a treadmill out in the dark. Like I just felt like I was walking on some treadmill for 20 minutes in the dark. Okay, next part. Next thing that gets weird is I couldn't talk. For the first time, I was trying to talk to him, and my whole language, syntactical mechanisms in my head just fucking failed on me. Like I couldn't string together real sentences that made any sense to anyone. I could just say words, and I was like trying to talk. And I knew what I wanted to say in my head, but it wouldn't come out in real words. I couldn't convey a message to him at all. So we were just walking. I'm tripping so hard that I'm seeing the branches come up. This is something that always happens to me in the dark, is when there's plants around, it looks like they're 3D, like to my face. Like it looks like they're in front of me, and I gotta like push them out of the way or something, because that's fucking how big the visuals were coming up at me. I remember seeing like what felt like cats running in front of me, like little spirit cats running in front of me and shit, like little shadowy figures passing me and shit. So anyways, we're getting closer to the house, as my grandparents had just called my cousin and said we needed to come back. And I was like, oh shit, like I'm gonna have to talk to my grandparents and shit. And he was like, let me do all the talking and stuff, because I couldn't talk at all. So I remember approaching the house feeling like I was in some scene in a movie, like here it comes, like I'm gonna have to keep my shit together. The suspense was killer. So we got to the downstairs, opened the door, and shit changed when I got inside. Like my grandma was down there and I had to act normal. I just kept it together, just walked in and say a lot, and I just remember him doing the talking. I don't even remember what they were talking about. And then she left after making a bed for us, and they went upstairs to go to bed. Shit got so fucking crazy when we were in the house, because by then I was fully in the trip. We had only walked for 45 minutes, so by now I was starting to peak in the trip. And shit got crazy on that couch. I was laying on the couch like this one, and I had my hands like down in here. And when I put my hand in something like this, it straight felt like that shit went off into infinity. Like I could feel my legs and my arms being pulled off into the abyss. Like I felt like I was being ripped apart. Like I felt it for sure. Like I was being pulled off into infinity. Next thing, the edges of the roof that I was looking at, those also were going way off into infinity. Like this corner would be over here somewhere really far away. So it's like the roof wasn't connecting to the wall. The whole room was being pulled off into infinity. And I started feeling like everything came to a close. Like I had found the fucking eschaton or whatever. I felt like I was a chair in a room for like 20 minutes. I thought I was a chair. I didn't know I was me. I had complete ego death, and I was just chairs and cabinets and random shit. I was just everything. Like, I remember I kept saying shit like, I'm here. Like, I'm at the place. I'm here. I felt like I was at the Godhead for the first time. Like, I was just seeing fucking the dimensions of everything being broke down mathematically in front of me and shit. Seeing spirit cats running down in the basement. I spent a good 3 hours just glued to that couch thinking I was floating off in infinity. Little did I know my cousin was trying to talk to me the whole time. I didn't forgot he was there pretty much. He told me I was saying nonsense and shit. I remember telling him how I thought I was the element of water or something weird like that. But yeah, I had one of those serious ego deaths where you become space. Like, I was straight space, cabinets and chairs and shit. I could feel my body was a chair. Like, I'd never be able to describe to you how that shit felt. It'd be like, try to imagine what it would feel like to be a dog for a few minutes, like not have a language to draw from. I felt like I was a dog or an animal or something. I had no like concept of what the English language was at all. So that happened. I remember my cousin said I was saying some pretty crazy shit, like going up to the top of a hill and shooting someone or hanging myself or some crazy shit like that. And I wouldn't doubt that I was saying shit like that. He thought I was going to kill him that night. He was scared, even though I probably couldn't. He's a lot bigger than me. He thought I was going to kill him. He was like, because he was tripping too. And he was like, he hadn't seen someone trip that hard in years. And at first, even though he was scared and shit, later he said like that was cool, like, because he remembers what it was like to be on that level. But I was on that level. I was just screaming out random shit, literally like just glued to a couch, not able to walk. Finally, as the trip started to come down, I remember seeing these visions and feeling that this voice inside me telling me that all I wanted to do in life was do good. Like, do good for people, like, be a good person. I could feel my inner voice saying that, like, I'm a good person, like, on the inside. And I could see, like, my soul teacher animal at the top of this hill. Like, I kept seeing this hill, like, that was my life or something, and my soul teacher animal was up there. But yeah, a lot of psychedelic vision type shit like that. The TV's colors would change and shit, and the TV would wave, and, like, everything breathing and waving, like, what you usually expect. Shit was so cool on shrooms. When you walk towards a wall, it will get farther away from you. Like, this shit would just keep going away, and I'd be like, holy shit, like, I'm in a huge ass room right now. Like, obviously you're not seeing that, but you could probably relate. I'll be walking towards something and it would just get farther and farther and farther away the closer I try to walk to it. So shit like that happened. Yeah, I mean, that night, that basement turned into a spaceship to go to fucking space, like, for me. Like, that couch tore me into an infinite abyss, into a pool of psychedelic knowledge or something like that. It was one of those trips. And coming out of it, I had a big headache. Like, the next day, I had a headache for the next half of the day, but that went away. That trip was another extremely profound moment in my life. I was seeing my spirit animal. I was seeing shit go into infinity, which I'd never seen. I'd never experienced what it actually felt like to be infinite. Like, I could feel it, like, going off into infinite, infinitesimally long, whatever. Fucking shit was real. Shit got real that night. 2.5 eighths, huge body load. Didn't actually throw up. But yeah, that's gotta be a heroic dose. 8 grams or some shit. That's more than what Terrence McKenna takes and shit. This is my room, by the way. So yeah, 2.5 fucking eighths. I went there. I can't think of anything else that I left out of that trip report. Hope you enjoyed it. Happy tripping.